Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, something that's been keeping me up late at night lately has been about boundaries. That's right. People always talk about boundaries for your relationships, whether it's with people in your family, your friends, and especially in dating. But what I think doesn't get talked about enough is boundaries at work. That's right. Just because you're getting paid doesn't mean you have to work yourself to death or to exhaustion. They don't own you and they don't own me, okay? um, you don't always have to pick your job over time with your family. You don't have to pick your job over time with yourself because the relationship with yourself is one of the most important relationships you could ever have, okay? So don't let a job work you to the point of exhaustion and where you're mad at yourself every day, okay? Because you are replaceable at your company. Shoot, if you were to get sick out of nowhere, guess what? The business won't shut down and wait for you to come back into work. No, they'll find somebody to fill in because they want their money. They want to hit their bottom line, they want to hit their goals. Whether the person filling in does a good job or not, now that's a completely different story, okay? Even for my entrepreneurs, guess what? CEOs of multi-million dollar companies, they take time off. They delegate work because they're not running themselves into the ground, and you shouldn't either. Even Jesus himself enforced boundaries. I'm serious. Jesus had boundaries. He didn't let people demand too much from him. He purposely carved out time to be alone and away from the throes of people and their demands every 5 seconds. He withdrew from crowds who wanted him from one time or another. He made sure to carve out special time with God because that was important to him. He didn't even let his own mother and brothers try to use their relationship with him to put them first. Back in Matthew, his disciples told him, "Oh, your mother and brother, they're here. They want you to stop, you know, preaching right now and prophesying to people. They want you to focus on them." Jesus said, so what? They're here. The people who are here, who do whatever the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and mother, not my blood relatives. He didn't let that relationship mess up what God told him to do. Okay? He didn't let that get manipulated over him or exploited. So there are three top things to look out for when it comes to a healthy work-life balance. That the next time that you're at work and you're starting to feel a little overwhelmed, or you're starting to feel like a couple of tasks on your plate are just a bit much, maybe just kind of take a moment, pause, and reflect to see, is this an area where I need to establish some boundaries? One, someone else's emergency isn't necessarily your emergency. Let me repeat. Your coworker's emergency is not always your emergency. Unless someone else's physical life is in your hands to where they literally might die, take a moment and digest how important a task is needed of you. There will always be a coworker or supervisor that comes to you in a panicked voice, all caps and emails, or whatever dramatic fashion, and say, "We need ABC now. We need it yesterday." I don't know about you, but I'm no time traveler. How dare someone come to you at 4 p.m., knowing you get off at 5 p.m., asking you to go above and beyond for something that, if it was properly time managed by them, it could have been done earlier. But now they want to raise your blood pressure to get this done by the morning. Excuse me? So, because you had a lack of organization, now all of a sudden it's my problem? No. Their emergency isn't always your emergency. Two, is the thing they're asking you, is it feasible for you, not them? So let's say for the same ask, they do offer you overtime pay. Do you have anything planned after work that's a personal obligation that you can't put off till later. If it's doable for your life, stay for the overtime that you're legally getting paid to do. If you're exempt, you're most likely not getting overtime. Sorry, folks. But still, ask yourself this feasible question: does your personal schedule work with this ask? Because just because you're exempt, some companies think that they can make you work all kinds of hours past what you're regularly known to work. No, ma'am, no, sir, no ham, no slices, no dice. Okay? Don't let them lie to you. You deserve to have your personal time to do whatever you want to do. If it's watching your favorite TV show, shoot, schedule in. That's my personal TLC time, okay? Um, how full is your own plate? Is this a part of your job to begin with, or is just helping someone else? You know, will this task put your own personal to-do list in jeopardy of not getting done? Now, I'm not saying to work selfishly, because we can all help out a coworker every once in a while, be a team player, but that does not mean you have to be a doormat, okay? Because it's one thing to do a favor every once in a while, but a whole other thing if you're getting asked to do this consistently, okay? 3, ask yourself this question: should they have listened to you to begin with? Or what I like to call, I told you so already, right? You have tried to do the task earlier, but either your coworker delayed in getting back to you, holding you up because they're unorganized or too busy or whatever and couldn't get to it sooner. Or maybe you told them the idea wasn't good enough to begin with and it won't get the results y'all need. But no, they swore up and down doing it this one particular way would do it. But 80% into doing it, you realize it's not working. And now you've lost time and you have to start all over again because they didn't want to listen to you to begin with. I told you so type of stuff, right? Some people don't like to hear what you have to say just because you're right most of the time and it kills their ego. Been there, done that. You are not alone, my friend. So if you find yourself in those type of scenarios, it might be time to start setting some boundaries. And there are respectable ways to assert yourself without losing your character, okay? You don't have to lose your job in order to set healthy workplace parameters, which you will and will not tolerate. So some ways to set your boundaries, because I know you're like, this sounds good in theory, but how am I going to actually do this? Let me show you. Okay. So one, clearly state at the beginning any time deadlines you may have as far in advance as possible. That way, no one can say, oh, you just sprung this on me. You're usually free all the time. Well, not today. Today, I'm not free all the time. Okay. How about that? So, for example, let's say you have your kids' thing to go to at 7 p.m., or you bought yourself some tickets somewhere and traffic is crazy and you want to make sure you leave by 5:30 or something, right? Whatever it is. You don't have to tell them the details. Just say something along the lines of, I have a personal thing I have to get to that I can't miss. I'll work as late as I can until I have to leave, but I cannot be late for my function. Or, lay a little guilt on them. I've missed my kids' functions quite a few times. I made a promise to not miss this one. Maybe I could come in early tomorrow instead. Would that work? Or I need you to sit, or you could let them know your deadline. I need you to send me the details no later than 6 p.m. because I'm finishing up by 6:30. If you can't send it to me before then, I'll get to it first thing when I'm back. Simple. You're giving your time deadlines. Like, hey, send this to me by this time, or I'm gone for the day. Sorry, but I'll look at it when I get back. Another type of assertion is, do you feel like you're doing way more than what your original job description is, right? Like you've excelled so well, they've piled more responsibility on. Excuse me. Another type of assertion is, maybe you feel like you're doing way more work than what your original job description is. Like you've excelled so well, they've piled more responsibility on. It's great. They see you and your potential, and you see that you're going to grow in this company, but they have yet to discuss a title change or a raise to go along with this new belief in you. So you've been doing this, let's say you've been doing above and beyond for a couple of months now, 2, 3 months or something, and not a peep from the higher ups or your supervisor about a raise or a new job description or anything. But these new tasks somehow seem to be now on your daily to-do list all of a sudden. So set up a meeting with your supervisor and discuss. Maybe they've already thought about it and planned to give it to you during your evaluation, or maybe they hoped they could get over on you. You don't know until you open your mouth. That old saying is true. Closed mouths don't get fed. Stop being a people pleaser. If you're already doing extra work, you need the extra pay, okay? Being a team player doesn't mean being a doormat. You bring value to that company. If they don't see it, go somewhere else where they do. Another area in work where you could, set some boundaries as an example, and I just learned this one myself not too long ago, is let's say you have to work with someone who just doesn't work well with others. There's always that one person, right? They are condescending and mad disrespectful to you. They talk to you like you some bum off the street. Like, no, they hired you for that position because you know what you're doing. Who knows why they act that way? Maybe they're mad because they have 4 degrees and you got one, and but y'all are doing the same thing. That's not your problem. Nope. If someone is being toxic or a workplace bully, shut that down, okay? Shut it down. Whomever you can speak to in a position of power, I hope they listen to you, but speak. Gather evidence, gather emails, get that person being rude to you in writing, okay? Get a witness, whatever you can to prove your word, then set a boundary. For me, a few jobs ago, I personally had to tell my supervisor that I will turn down a promotion if it involves working more closely with blank. I don't like working with them and their attitude. I straight up said it, okay? Um, I know it's bad. It's so bad. Everybody else in my department doesn't like interacting with this particular person either. There's no amount of money that will make me tolerate being treated like crap. And I told my supervisor those exact words. I showed my supervisor the email showing her condescending tone and behavior. And guess what? My supervisor already knew this person was a problem, because if they're like this with you, they're probably like that with a few other people too. And in my particular case, my supervisor said, I don't know what their deal is, but they won't be working with us that much longer anyway. So you don't have to worry about them. Whew, right? But I was not going to set myself up for constant conflict like that. No way. Don't get burnt out. Okay. Not setting boundaries will have you sweating your edges out, getting you high blood pressure, getting you ulcers and this and that. No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Take time for yourself. Okay. Because you can't get that time back. You can't get that time back with your family. You can't get that time back with your friends. You can't get that time back with dating if you're single and you want to go out and have fun every once in a while and go on a vacation and see a city. There's more to life than work.